Okay, we're live. Welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview podcast. Good morning. This is Greg Valoria, aka Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today, I'm pleased to talk with Cheryl A. Robinson. And there's a lot of Cheryl Robinson. There's how I put the A in there. She's the co-founder of the Ivy Startup Conference, which connects investors and startups from the Ivy League circuit, which stresses diversity in order to cultivate networks and share pragmatic insights. And anyway, good morning, Cheryl. Thanks for joining us live on Nerd Stalker here from New York, right?
Yes. Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, I was really when I saw Jeffrey, your other co-founder, kind of pitch the story to me, I was intrigued by it because one, it was kind of different, and he attached an article there, but we'll go into that a little bit. But anyway, you quickly tell the Nerd Stalker audience a little bit about yourself, Cheryl.
Sure. So I have 15 years of experience in the entertainment world, a majority of that being in the sports industry. And I worked for a firm developing out their sports department for a couple of years. I have a master's from Columbia. And after 2 years working with this firm, I said, it's time that I start my own venture. So last year I started my company called Ready to Roar. And through Ready to Roar, I met Jeffrey Fiedelman and Kayla Lee. And we were all entrepreneurs. And we decided after a few meetings for, meeting of the minds, we decided to start the Ivy Startup Conference. So now I have two companies in 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what motivated you to create the Ivy Startup Conference? I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so with all three of us being entrepreneurs, we were looking at other conferences to attend, and we realized that there isn't a conference out there that highlights just strictly startups from the Ivy League circuit or Ivy League world. So we started brainstorming on that, and we wanted to make the conference unique, both to the participants and to the attendees. So we thought that by having a conference that showcased startups with at least one co-founder from the Ivy League circuit would be unique in that area. And then for the attendees, what makes our conference unique is that it's a room full of investors. So not only do the companies that we select to pitch to a panel of investors, the whole audience is investors. So with the value added, the investors get to see, right, again, the Ivy League startups. And with that, when you hear Ivy League, you hear deep network and prestige. And then for the companies pitching, they get the value added of not only just the panel that they're pitching to, but a room full of investors that could potentially invest in their company.
This is interesting. So the Ivy League, I believe, has 8 schools in it, right? Is that right? And kind of give me a feel, or give the audience a feel about, how entrepreneurship has kind of risen in the Ivy League. I kind of wanted to ask you that question about that.
So within the Ivy Leagues, we had a lot of companies apply, and they're all seeing now the value in having their own entrepreneurial centers. So each university that we reached out to their entrepreneurial centers. And one of our investors who's sitting on a panel is the director of the Harvard Business School Startup Studio. So Harvard, they actually created a whole startup studio in New York where their alum or current students can apply, and it's like, an incubator accelerator for them to get their businesses launched. And these entrepreneurial centers are booming, and it's amazing that with the alumni investors that the Ivy Leagues have, these companies are really being well prepared to succeed out in the business world.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Wow, that's tremendous. Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of the pitch events that I go to here in San Francisco, I mean, and more of them are events than conferences like yours, but that are really staged. But I think a lot of the ones I see here, which yours is, a little bit unique, is that you really focus on making sure that startups meet investors. I think that's really the key point, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, and I don't see a lot of, I mean, I see that, but in a lot of conferences, it's just random. Here are six startups pitching. They throw the pitch out there, and they just hope investors come. So,
Right.
it's a mixed bag of people you see in the audience with those type of conferences, because a lot of it is there's people looking for jobs, there's people looking to
Yeah.
invest, and then there's just other startup founders as well in
Yeah.
mixing the audience. So anyway, that's pretty fascinating. Now one thing that you were talking about in the accompanying article to this which was aptly named exclusive yet inclusive, an insight from a female entrepreneur. When I read that, you were talking about also diversity, right? So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So exclusive yet inclusive stems from the mindset, right? Being an entrepreneur, you have to have a certain mindset to be able to succeed, or just to even have the courage to go after it, because there's many hurdles that you come across. And I wrote the article exclusive yet inclusive because there's been so much negative press out there about how there's so few women investors, so few female founders. Yes, that may be true. However, the progress that we're making is extraordinary. So through that article, I wanted to highlight the positivity around it along with the progress. And it is exclusive. Just trying to choose the right co-founders is a challenge in itself. So you have to be exclusive in choosing your founders, because do their skills complement mine? Are we on the same, wavelength? Do we believe in the vision of what we're starting? But once you are exclusive and once you narrow down that, it's so inclusive. Then it's all team building, the team effort. What can we do together to make this happen? So when I was looking for my founders, I wasn't, I just want to be a female company, started company, or I just want to work with males. It was, who do I get along with? Who can I build this company with? And I found that through Jeffrey and Kayla.
Yeah, it's great. I was looking at their bios on your website, and we'll talk a little bit about that next. About, really, what reached me was really, I mean, is just that there's not a lot of networks pulling all these female resources together. I mean, there are a lot, but I mean, I think that's what's going to bring attention to this growth in female entrepreneurship, whatever you want to call it, is just events like yours, right?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about, let's move now to the Ivy Startup Conference and, some of the programming. I'll pull up I'll share the screen while you're talking about this, but why don't you tell the audience quickly about the Ivy Startup Conference and what you're going to have on there?
Sure. So at the Ivy Startup Conference, which is being held in November at Rise, New York, which is a co-working space where they have a cafe and theater, we're going to occupy that cafe and theater. We've selected 12 startups to pitch to a panel of investors.
Oh, they've been selected already. Oh, cool.
Yes. They will be... they're going to be we haven't notified them yet. So they're going to be notified within the next week. And each company has 15 minutes. And part of that 15 minutes is their pitch. And then the other part is where the panel of investors get to ask them questions based around their pitch. And then, we're going to have a reception at the end of the conference so that the startups can meet the rest of the investor attendees.
Wow. Well, it sounds pretty cool. I mean, 12 VC investor panels.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 on each panel.
And I mean, on the screen, as you can see, we have some of the top rated VC firms and investment firms.
Holy moly. Yeah, I'd say. Wow, that's cool. Wow, that's great. I mean, so, I guess you have a lot of experience in the event area, so this is kind of almost a natural for you, right?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you're able to get all these, sponsors and organizers behind you. So, I think, wow. So, this is really cool. So, I mean, do you see this as a yearly ongoing event, Cheryl?
100%. And we have people out in Los Angeles, San Francisco, who have been asking, are you going to take this to the West Coast? And our answer is yes, we are. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Let us know when you do that. We'll be there. So,
awesome.
So anyway, yeah, no, I think we're really excited to help you guys, promote this event. And so I think
awesome.
that's,
Thank you.
I think this is really, really cool. And, everyone, if you haven't seen her article, check it out. It's called Exclusive Yet Inclusive Insight from a Female Entrepreneur. And so I want you guys to kind of check that one out. But anyway, let's close off the interview. I think it's a great start. And, maybe once you announce the startups, we'll go ahead and, publish those too. But, how can people find out more about this conference and how to attend and, to find out more about you guys?
Yep. So the conference is invite only. If you go to our website, which you just showed everyone, there is a request button and you can click that. And then we will be sending out invites next month. So our website and Twitter are the best ways to stay in touch with us. And it's the Ivy Startup Conference, ISC for short. And I believe you have all of our social media links that you're going to post. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll post that. So, excellent. Well, and I really appreciate your time this morning, and thanks for joining us. I know you're on the. It's pretty early on the East Coast there. It's even earlier here on the West Coast. But that's okay.
Well, thank you for getting up this early.
We get up early for any startup thing. So, we're nerd stalkers. We stalk everything. So, anyway, we'll close out the interview, and thank you for your time. Again, that was Cheryl Robinson, producer and co-founder of Ivy Startup Conference, featuring networking and diversity for Ivy League startups and other startups. It's invite only. So, as Cheryl said, go to the website, click the request an invite button, and, I'm sure Cheryl and her team of experts there will review your credentials and see if you actually qualify. So I guess everyone's going to qualify at this point. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Valoria, a.k.a. Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Thanks a lot, Cheryl, for your time again.
Thank you very much.